Hello folks, this is John again, and today let's see how we can get a more modern style metal rhythm tone. First of all, let's go through some tone demos so you can see where it could go. So first of all, what you see here is a project I made specifically to test out plugins for guitar tones. So I recorded a couple of different sections with different styles of playing and different focus points and whatnot. And these first two parts are for a bit more of a modern style. And then here you can see what I named those in the markers. We'll get through the other rhythm sections as well throughout the video, but since this is for a more modern style tone, let's stick to these first two. For starters, let me show you how I dealt in this tone. So first of all, again, we have the Greed Smasher by Mercurial, which I like quite a bit. Then the amp plugin. This is the Mega Fuzzy by Vadim Taranov, and this is the free demo version. In the free demo version, all the dials lock into places. And the commercial version, I think it's not even that expensive. It's like 10 bucks or something. And then you have more control over the dials. So that means when you have more control over the gain stage, over the distortion, you need to use the level knob on the booster pedal plugin you used beforehand. Like so. And this plugin kind of surprised me. I think for a modern tone, this is one of the best. And I have tried Emissary. But Emissary I will cover in another video of its own. You can see the settings here is all at noon. And the settings here in the booster pedal, and that's it. You could also use the Tube Screamer style pedal, which does as well. Then for this particular tone, I used an impulse response from the God's Cap pack, specifically the U87 mic. The position is at grill, cone near, with the presence at 3. It sounds pretty cool when we take out the EQs in here. Wait, let's go to this section. It has a pretty cool roar to it. And then after that, come on, I think I need to get a new DAW. This is getting buggy kind of. Here's some leveling EQ. In the 120 Hz range, this impulse response can become quite strong. And then this boost appears just to make it sit in the mix a little bit better. And then the second EQ is cutting some resonances, and here 500 Hz. And this is more specific to this impulse response. So it has nothing really, this is not taking care of problems from the amp simulator. And if I would use a different impulse response, then this would also look different. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Now here on the second bus, I prepared, it's pretty much the same tone, just using an impulse from Ownhammer. Here you can see which one it is specifically. It's the 4x12 Mesa rectifier with a V30 speaker, 57 mic, and the plus feature, I guess it's boosted mids or something. Then again, just some leveling EQ. Here you can see this one doesn't need this low-end treatment. And then here again, cutting some resonances. This may look like much, but it's really not. And it's just very minor tweaks here, like -2 dB, -3 dB, nothing major really. So it's not all that problematic. It's just to give it a touch of cleanup. Now let's compare the two a little bit. I don't know about you, but I personally prefer the own hammer in here. It just has something a bit more, I don't know, I want to say realistic to it, for lack of a better word. But I just noticed with free impulse responses, you notice there's something about it that feels a little bit, yeah, cheap, I kind of want to say, again, for lack of a better word. It doesn't sound bad, don't get me wrong, but you know, spending a little bit of money on some very quality impulse responses will get you a long way, in my opinion. So let's take a look at the thrashy section here. Right off the bat, I want to boost the tone on my pedal for this one to give it a bit more of an edgy pick attack. Yeah, and now let's check out these other three. So the first three are in drop C for a bit more modern and faster paced stuff, and the other three are in drop A for a bit more of a slower style stuff. So now we are back on the first bus using the God's Cap impulse response. Let's check this out. Okay, it sounds pretty nasty if you ask me. And the second half of that part, I noticed I need to dial back the tone again because it gets a bit too scratchy. Yeah, that sounds a bit more girthy and a bit more fitting. Let's just listen to the guitar tone itself in this section. And here I notice it works, but I personally think this tone doesn't do so well on this kind of style. It's really in combination with the bass that it sounds so rich and roaring. For that kind of chugging, I would personally go for a different amp that also has a bit more of a girthier vibe to it, like the Harlequin here by Mercurial, for example. But let's go on, with the next section. think here you can notice this tone actually will work pretty well for a very modern djenty style with very low tunings and these open notes, and you hear that edginess, that typical djentiness in the pick attack, but it's not weak in the lower range, so this works pretty well. Now let's take a look at the last one. Yeah, kind of similar to the chuggy low stuff. It works, but I would go for something a bit girthier than modern in that kind of style. Let's check that out with the own hammer impulse. Yeah, it gets closer to what I would want to go for. Okay, so that's basically it. That's a little something I wanted to show you. Basically, just shooting out here this Mega Fuzzy. It was actually recommended by a viewer and I forgot your username, but I appreciate it very much. This guy does some very quality stuff. So just Google his name, Vadim Taranov, and you will immediately find his site where he provides the download for all the stuff. And from all of his amp plugins, I can also recommend here the Invasion, which is an emulation of the Engel Invader. Sounds really cool, but this one doesn't have here the stereo processing features, so you would have to load it onto the individual DI tracks. And I can also recommend the Red Tone, which is an emulation of the Fortinatus, and that sounds pretty sick. It gives you a little bit of an Ola Englund style tone. Sounds pretty nasty. But here, same thing, it doesn't provide the stereo processing feature, so you would also have to load that separately onto the individual DI tracks. Alright, that's it for this video. If you liked it, you know what to do. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. And keep on coming with the ideas for free stuff you want me to try out and different kinds of styles of tones you want me to try out using free plugins preferably. And I will see you next time.